Welcome to our Defense Briefing show. I'm your host, Yang Zheng. Today, we're diving into some of the most pressing issues that have caught the world's attention. First up, the staggering devastation in Gaza has drawn comparisons to the aftermath of World War II, with the UN highlighting the monumental challenge of rebuilding homes and lives by 2040 amidst an economic collapse. Then we shift gears to a controversial US drone strike in Syria, which mistakenly claimed the life of a farmer instead of an al-Qaeda leader, spotlighting the grim reality of civilian casualties in modern warfare. And finally, we're taking a chilly trip to the Arctic, where the US military's preparedness, or lack thereof, is under the microscope as geopolitical tensions simmer in this increasingly strategic frontier. Stay tuned for the detailed scoop on these stories. Please continue watching for more in-depth coverage. In a series of reports that paint a grim picture of the future of Gaza, the United Nations has laid bare the catastrophic destruction and long-term economic impacts resulting from the conflict in the region. According to the Associated Press, a joint assessment by the United Nations Development Program (UNDP) and the United Nations Economic Commission for Western Asia has revealed that the devastation wrought by Israel's bombing and ground offensive in Gaza is unparalleled, drawing comparisons to the destruction seen during World War II. The report forecasts a daunting timeline for recovery, estimating that it would take until 2040 to rebuild the homes that have been destroyed. The scale of the humanitarian and economic crisis is staggering. The UNDP report highlights the dire consequences of the conflict on Gaza's population, with over 30,000 Palestinians killed and more than 80,000 injured, figures that underscore the unprecedented level of casualties the region has witnessed. Furthermore, the economic toll is profound, with 210,000 jobs lost and the economy contracting by 80 in the last quarter of 2023 alone. The future looks bleak, with the report indicating that without significant international intervention, the path of recovery will be long and fraught with challenges. Echoing these sentiments, Yahoo US has reported on the extensive financial and social damage inflicted upon Gaza, stating that the UN estimates at least $50 billion worth of investment has been obliterated. The blockade imposed by Israel and Egypt since 2007, following Hamas's takeover, has only exacerbated the situation, plunging 1.8 million Palestinians into poverty. This dire economic situation is compounded by the destruction of housing, with the UN warning that Gaza will not see full reconstruction till 2040 should the conflict cease today. CBC adds another layer to the unfolding tragedy, focusing on the impact of the war on Gaza's infrastructure. The report from the UN paints a bleak picture of the educational landscape, with a takeoff of schools in Gaza suffering damage since October 17. The need for major or full reconstruction of over 70 of these institutions speaks volumes about the long-term effects on the region's youth and future generations. Moreover, the report emphasizes the prolonged economic repercussions, projecting that it could take up to 80 years to restore all fully destroyed housing units, underlining the enduring legacy of the conflict on Gaza's urban landscape and its inhabitants. These reports collectively underscore the immense challenges facing Gaza in the aftermath of the conflict. The destruction of housing and infrastructure, the loss of jobs, and the deepening of poverty are issues that will reverberate for decades, affecting generations to come. The international community's response to this crisis, and the mobilization of resources for Gaza's reconstruction, will be critical in shaping the region's future, as the UN's assessments vividly illustrate. Without a concerted effort to address the immediate needs and long-term recovery of Gaza, the consequences of this conflict will continue to be felt far beyond its borders, echoing through history as a stark reminder of the cost of war. In a recent revelation that has stirred the waters of international military operations, the U.S. Department of Defense, as reported by Al Jazeera, has made a startling admission regarding a drone strike in Syria. Initially heralded as a successful operation targeting an al-Qaeda leader on May 3, 2023, the strike's true casualty was, in fact, a 50-year-old shepherd named Levi Hazen-Masto, not the terrorist mastermind the Pentagon had claimed. This unfortunate incident highlights the grim reality of U.S. drone warfare, where the precision of strikes is often overshadowed by the tragic misidentification of targets, leading to civilian casualties. The death of Maso, a mere farmer, further intensifies the scrutiny on the United States' reliance on drone technology for combating terrorism, raising ethical questions about the collateral damage inflicted upon innocent lives in the process. Switching gears to the domestic front, the Associated Press reported a case that seems ripped from the pages of a spy thriller. Army Lieutenant Colonel Frank Crost Albert finds himself in the eye of a legal storm, charged with the illicit importation of firearm parts from countries including Russia, and engaging in unauthorized weapons dealing. Despite pleading not guilty and being released under supervision, Talbert's actions paint a concerning picture of the potential vulnerabilities within the military's ranks. Serving with the Army's Explosives Ordnance Disposal at Fort Campbell, his alleged smuggling of AK-style firearm parts and inert rifle grenades, alongside the illegal possession of AK-47 machine guns, if proven, could land him up to 20 years behind bars. This case underscores the ongoing challenges and complexities surrounding military personnel and the adherence to legal and ethical standards in their conduct. Meanwhile, in a stark departure from the gritty realities of military missteps and legal entanglements, Fox News anchor Bill Hemmer embarked on an Arctic adventure, as detailed by the Associated Press. In a bid to shed light on the U.S. Navy's preparedness in the frosty frontiers of the Arctic, Hemmer's journey required him to wield a chainsaw to break through the ice, a testament to the length the journalist will go to uncover stories. His documentary, streaming on Fox Nation, navigates the geopolitical and strategic significance of the Arctic, a region increasingly seen as a chessboard for military and economic ambitions by the 8 nations, including 7 NATO members that lay claim to its vast, icy expanses. Interestingly, Hammer's narrative sidesteps the contentious issue of climate change, a decision that might raise eyebrows given the profound impact global warming has on the Arctic's rapidly changing landscape. These 3 disparate narratives, from the tragic misfire of a drone strike in Syria, the legal woes of an Army lieutenant colonel, to an Arctic expedition by a news anchor, each shed light on different facets of military and defense-related issues facing the United States today. The stories bring to the forefront the complexities, challenges, and sometimes a sheer unpredictability of military operations and the individuals within its vast ecosystem. Whether it's the unintended consequences of drone warfare, the legal boundaries crossed by military personnel, or the strategic importance of remote regions like the Arctic, each narrative contributes to a broader understanding of the intricate tapestry that is global military and defense affairs. In the heart of American academia, a spirited debate is unfolding, challenging the very fabric of college curriculums and their focus, or purported lack thereof, in decolonization. According to Foreign Policy, the recent escalation in demands on U.S. campuses, particularly surrounding the end of the war in Gaza and the call for a new political order for Palestinians, has reignited discussions on the relevance of decolonization in modern education. Critics argue that the subject is either overly emphasized or misplaced, especially in relation to the Israel-Palestine conflict. However, proponents of decolonization studies counter by highlighting the historical significance of the banding era of the 1950s and 1960s and 1960s, a time when over 50 nations cast off European colonial rule. This period, they argue, represents a monumental movement of world justice and political solidarity against imperialism, a narrative that is often overshadowed or dismissed in Western discourse. The narrative of decolonization is not just confined to academic debates, but finds resonance in the actions of students across campuses. For instance, at college in Pennsylvania, a group of students made headlines, as reported by Yahoo US, for their encampment on campus grounds. These students, driven by a fervent desire for change, are calling for the college to divest from the Israeli Defense Forces (IDF) and to establish as scholarships, all in protest of the Israel-Hamas war. The college's president, John Jones, noted the peaceful nature of these protests and acknowledged the productive discussions that have ensued. This movement underscores a broader trend of student activism that seeks to challenge and reshape the discourse around international conflicts and colonial legacies. The urgency and relevance of these discussions are further underscored by the dire situation in Gaza. As detailed by Al Jazeera, the United Nations has reported that the level of destruction in Gaza, wrought by the latest conflict, is unparalleled since the aftermath of World War II, with over 70% of housing destroyed and an estimated 33 million tons of debris needing removal. The reconstruction of Gaza is poised to be the largest post-war reconstruction effort since 1945, with costs potentially reaching up to $50 billion. This stark reality brings to the forefront the immediate and long-term impacts of colonial and post-colonial conflicts. highlighting the critical need for a comprehensive understanding and engagement with decolonization. The debate over the inclusion and focus on decolonization within college curriculums is more than an academic exercise. It reflects a deeper struggle over memory, identity, and justice. The Bandung era's legacy, the ongoing student activism, and the catastrophic aftermath of conflicts like the one in Gaza all serve as potent reminders of the complex and often painful history of colonialism and the imperative for decolonization. As institutions of higher learning grapple with these issues, the conversation extends beyond the confines of campuses, inviting a broader reflection on the role of education in addressing the legacies of the past and shaping the contours of a more just and equitable world. In essence, the discourse surrounding decolonization in college curriculums, student activism, and the global implications of post-colonial conflicts converge to form a multifaceted narrative. This narrative challenges us to reconsider our understanding of history, our responsibilities towards social justice, and the potential of education as a tool for transformative change. As the world watches the reconstruction of Gaza and the evolution of student movements, the lessons of the Bandung era offer a beacon of hope and a call to action. A reminder that the journey towards decolonization and the quest for moral justice and political solidarity against imperialism remain as relevant and urgent as ever. Russian forces have made a significant move by setting up camp at a Niger airbase, following the African nation's directive for U.S. troops to vacate. A U.S. official disclosed that, while the U.S. has yet to announce a departure date for its roughly 1,000 troops stationed in Niger, most are now concentrated at Airbase 201. Close to Agadez, this development unfolds amidst escalating tensions between the U.S. and Russia, primarily due to America's military support for Ukraine. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 60O team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 60O Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 660O team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 60O Brief to meet your professional needs, you'll have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 60obrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 60O Brief via email,